An old woman plucked a beautiful rose and presented it to the richest prince there. The prince laughed and was overjoyed. He had countless beautiful women and was always well dressed. But today, he never imagined an ugly old woman would come to give him a flower. Although the rose was very beautiful, the old woman was so ugly that the prince threw the flower to the ground in disgust and told her to leave immediately. Saddened and angry, the old woman warned him not to judge people by their looks. With that, the ugly old woman transformed into a beautiful fairy queen. The next moment, the prince fell to his knees in fear and begged for forgiveness, but the fairy refused to forgive him. Because the prince loved external beauty so much, she transformed him into a hideous beast. She also transformed the rest of the people in the palace into desolate objects. Now the prince had to live alone in the palace. The fairy said that if he wanted to become human again, he had to find a girl who would truly love him before the rose completely faded. But time passed and the prince gave up all hope. After all, who would love an animal? Many years later, a merchant was wandering in the forest. He was troubled by cold and hunger and came across a pack of wolves. In a panic, he ran and accidentally ended up at the same palace. There, he found a burning fire and a table full of delicious food. Hungry and cold, the merchant began to eat bread without thinking. Then the teacup on the table moved towards him on its own accord and began to speak. His mother had told him not to move, or people would be frightened. The merchant said it was okay, but his body spoke the truth. Terrified, he rode his horse and fled the palace. While running, he passed a garden of white roses and stopped. He thought of picking a rose for his daughter, but the beast, the owner of the palace, saw his action. He mistook the merchant for a thief and captured him. The merchant's horse ran away in fear and crossed the snowy ground to a place where it was spring. When the merchant's daughter saw that the horse had returned alone, she immediately realized her father was in trouble. She mounted her horse and set out for the palace. She entered the palace with a long stick and finally found her father imprisoned on the top floor. Then came the beast's terrifying cry from above, but then he fell silent. The girl gathered courage, looked up, and was shocked to see the beast's face. This is where their unique story begins.